These fools, they'll never learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Food for Thought Fight Bites. This is an ongoing series where I pull in some guests to chat about very specific fight scenes that will range from old school kung fu cinema to the new school stuff like wire fu, 80s kickboxing style, and maybe even some Korean cinema, which might be just around the corner. Hint, hint, hint. I have a wonderful guest with me today. I have the legendary, iconic Kaleb from Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema. How you doing?
Hello. How's it going? That's very kind words of you, but I have to disagree. I'm not.
Gotta big up your guests. Come on now.
Yeah.
I'd expect no different from anyone else.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. I've been wanting to do this, so I'm glad we got around to it.
Awesome. I'm so happy to have you on. So we're going to be talking about a very interesting fight scene today. Not even fight scene, more like an action sequence, or even 2 action sequences. And like I said, we may be delving into Korean cinema, and today we are delving in Korean cinema. Kaleb, would you like to tell them what sequence we are talking about?
It's going to be the finale of The Man from Nowhere.
That's right. Do you know what? I don't have it in front of me. Do you know what year The Man from Nowhere was?
2010.
2010? Okay,
Yeah.
There you go. We actually covered it for the podcast, so go back and listen to that podcast episode if you're interested. We did actually all enjoy the film. But we are... Sorry?
I didn't mean to cut you off. I did that one too.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. Did you all... how many hosts did you have on that one?
It was just me and my wife. I think we did it last year.
Okay.
Yeah, like August of 22. So yeah, it was just me and my wife. But yeah, we did that one.
Did your wife enjoy it?
Yeah, but it was also one of those things where she's like, so she gets very emotional with a lot of movies, and I kind of have a reputation of not telling her, hey, you might cry at this. And so I didn't tell her. She didn't know what was going to happen. And so we got into it, and yeah, like she was just like bawling because it's such an emotional movie. And she was like, I'm never watching this with you again. So yeah, she did like it though. Yeah, she did highly enjoy it.
Awesome. The last time I watched it, I did get a bit misty-eyed, I'll admit. I've seen this film maybe 3 times, but I don't know whether it's to do with my emotional maturity now, but it definitely hit me. It hit me right in the heart. So,
oh yeah.
So I came to you and asked you to be on Fight Bites, and I said, what fight scene or action sequence would you like to discuss? And you chose this one. Would you like to tell us why?
Yeah. So this is one of those fight scenes where I feel that it has all of the qualities. I'll say it has all of the qualities that some people may complain about in this day and age, and that is a lot of shaky cam and a lot of quick cuts. However, when it comes to this movie, I personally believe that this is that sort of thing and those techniques. I feel that this is where they use those techniques correctly. A lot of movies really dial it up and use excessive quick cutting and shaky cam. Movies like the 2021 Mortal Kombat, where they royally screwed it up, in my opinion. We're not here to talk about how good or bad the movie is, but I think as far as the fight scenes go, I feel like they did not succeed in that area. But yeah, this fight scene is really special to me because of the techniques they're using, and I feel that this is the correct way to do it. Even though the camera is shaking, and then there is a lot of cuts with the editing, you still see what's going on. Nothing is obscured, and each cut, even if it's a little bit even if the quick cutting is a little bit erratic, you still see each thing as it's happening. It's not like where they're like doing so much and they're cutting so much that you can't even really tell what's going on. Like, yeah, this isn't really the case with that. This is still like they're doing it, but you still have room to breathe and still are able to process what's happening.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for some bizarre reason, Korean filmmakers, they tend to be able to use shaky cam and use it right. I think a few films do that, and I don't know what they do differently. But I agree with you. I think this film does it very, very well. And granted, like some people might watch this fight scene and go, they might feel exactly the same about this as they do about, I don't know, something like the Bourne films, and say, "Oh no, I can't see anything." But yeah, I think there's a language to this particular fight scene, and I think that includes the shaky cam. And by that, I think what this fight scene has, or action sequence has, is a lot of emotional weight, right?
Oh yeah.
Not going to ruin the film for everyone, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But our hero of the film, let's say something traumatic happens to him, and
Yeah.
he gets enraged, angry, and I think the action sequence mirrors his rage. He's frantic, he's chaotic, he's ready to do whatever is necessary. And I think the quick cuts and the chaos of the fight scene mirrors the emotional weight we're meant to experience along with our main character. And I think it just works really, really well. And on top of that, they throw in, it's very bloody. It's a very bloody fight scene, whether it's the gunplay or later on the knife work. It's very bloody. It's very visceral. And I think for some bizarre reason, just the chaos just adds to that, and I love it. I love it. It's a very special action sequence, I think.
I agree 100%. Yeah, and at that up to that point in the movie, I mean that is the finale, and up to that point, the character, our lead, he's been through so much, and yeah, I mean at this point, he is just snapped, and he's just going bananas on these guys. But yeah, I definitely agree that that like the camera work and the editing techniques they're using definitely play into the context of the movie.
Yeah, and I think I don't have it in front of me. I should have it. I don't know who choreographed this film or directed the action.
It was the guy who directed the movie as a whole. I cannot remember his name.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. And that's very interesting.
Yeah, I believe the guy who directed the movie like as a whole, I believe he also like did the choreography and all that. So
it feels that way. It feels like he really knows what he's doing with the final sequence. Mm-hmm. He's really, I mean, this might sound obvious, but he's telling a story, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he's telling a story through action. And I think what's clever about this fight scene is if you watch this, when I watch it, the choreography is brutal, it's fast, it's breakneck, and it's almost, well, it's not flashy, it's not smooth. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not smooth. It's staggered and brutal and barbaric and chaotic. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he can choreograph it that way and make it look so erratic, mm-hmm. that takes a talent. That is a talent that does that. Because something like John Wick, that is also often, well, let's take John Wick 4, for example. It's often chaotic. There's people coming in from all angles. It's a crazy time. John Wick's still quite smooth. It's still quite smooth, and it plays out neatly. Something like this, it's very erratic, but that takes a hell of a talent to be able to do choreography that's super all over the place like that. Or at least that's what I think.
Yeah, there, and you mentioned everyone. You mentioned like all the guys, yeah, like how chaotic it is. You mentioned everyone coming from a lot of different areas of the room that they're in. There's actually a video. I cannot remember the name of the channel, so unfortunately I cannot cite that channel. But they did but the guy did a breakdown of like the action in this movie, mm-hmm. and like particularly this scene, and something he pointed out, and like when he pointed it out, I realized what he was talking about, and that there's a lot of chaos and there's everybody around, but something that our hero is doing, you'll notice that he keeps each person in like a straight line.
Yeah.
Like so that they cannot surround him. And, he's forcing them to confront him like one person at a time so that he can take them all out much more easily.
Yeah. And he brutalizes them to the point where, I mean, there's a famous scene, if anyone's seen this, there's a famous moment, not even a scene, a famous moment where he's dragging a guy along the floor and he's slitting his wrist and slitting his arm. And it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. But
that
he's
part was
taken
cringe.
yeah, but he's taking that guy fully out of commission, and he's putting that guy between him and the next guy coming at him, and it's so clever. Like, the choreography again, it's just it's almost genius level. It's a very smart way of directing a fight scene, and I also like that. It starts as gunplay. It starts as a shootout,
Yeah.
and then it goes to knife or like some empty-handed stuff, and then a knife fight. And I think there's something about that. I don't know what the director's quite trying to say there, but I think I don't know. I don't know. I think there's some kind of story that he's trying to tell that it goes from gunplay to knife fighting.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what he's trying to say, but I love the fact I don't think it's devolving into knife fight. I think it's evolving into a knife fight.
Yeah.
And it's very, very interesting. And I actually saw I saw a still from the film, a behind the scenes still. And if anyone's familiar with, he takes out this mob of bad guys, and then he has a one-on-one fight scene with like the main henchman. And there's a still out there, behind the scenes still, and there's a first person shot in the film, and the bad guy has a motorcycle helmet on with a camera strapped to the front of the motorcycle helmet, and that's how they did the first person shot, which is super interesting.
Yeah. That is very interesting.
I think I don't remember. Well, this is 2010. I can't remember many martial arts films or action films that were doing first person work around then.
Neither can I. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, what, Doom? The Doom film? Maybe that was probably before 2010. But I guess that doesn't count. But yeah, I can't think of many that would do it, because everyone knows this knife fight. If you speak to people about one of the greatest knife fights ever, they know that it's Man from Nowhere.
Absolutely, yeah. And whenever I before I like really watched the film, and I saw many people referencing this when it came to knife fights, I that was like one of the big reasons why I wanted to check this movie out. And yeah, when I saw this knife fight scene, it blew me away, really. And again, I definitely agree that this is hands down the best knife fight you're ever going to see in a movie. I don't think anyone can top this.
Yeah, it's really quite incredible to watch, because it's so stylized, but again, he keeps that ferocity up, and there's a sense of like real danger. Like any of these guys could get stabbed and taken out at any moment, and it's really, really quite I don't know, it gives the audience a sense of like danger, that it's not just I guess these days sometimes you see a knife fight and it's very block, trap, block, swipe, block, trap, and it's very like fluid and very over choreographed maybe. But this one just feels like, oh shit, someone's gonna get stabbed any second now.
Yeah.
It's a flurry. I mean, it's not overly choreographed, and it's also not like, Under Siege knife fight.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a this movie definitely leaves a sense of, and I think, I mean, and I think knife fights in general, or like any type of fight scene that's got like a blade in it, it no matter what it is, I think the audience in some shape or form is going to have that thought that, okay, someone is going to get sliced up, like and it's going to be nasty, and so, and this definitely plays into that, because like you said, like there's not like a lot of trapping and stuff like that here, like there's like whenever the fight starts, like the knife fight starts between the two, Juan Bin, who is our lead in the movie, he's like thrusting it at the guy, like he is like he's trying to like catch this guy, like he's not trying to like go high or low or anything like that, or like do something really fancy. He is like thrusting the knife at the guy, so you definitely believe that these two guys are trying to hurt each other.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You make a really good point there. There is a sense that these two men are trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
Right, that's the story that the fight scene's telling. It's not, block, flowy moves. And I think that's really interesting because there is a distinct sense that these guys are definitely trying to do harm to each other. Yeah, that's fascinating because a lot of films don't do it. Not that I'm complaining about other knife fights. I love flowy and choreographed knife fights. Don't get me wrong, but I just think this one's very interesting. Also, is this the first time we saw a karambit on film?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure.
Oh, wait. This isn't the first time we saw a karambit. If I
No,
remember correctly, I think we see a form of a karambit in, of all films, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I haven't seen that movie, so
No?
I haven't seen that, so I'm not. I can't confirm whether or not, but yeah, you're probably right.
There's a girl with a very long karambit. I don't even know if you call it a karambit, but there is a girl in it who kills a guy with a knife like that. So
Okay.
maybe that's the first time, but definitely the first time from what I can recall in a martial arts film.
Yeah. Something that I had wanted to point out with the knife fight scene is whenever it starts, I love how the camera stays on our two guys, like when the fight starts. And I don't know, I mean, we'd have to time it, but I don't know how long the camera stays on them. But whenever it starts and it's just kind of staying on them, and it's kind of moving just a little bit
Yeah.
and following each guy. But I still love how it stays on for as long as it does, because that's a lot of choreography to memorize, for the actors. So I really like how the camera stays on them when it starts.
Yeah, and you got to think about the actors because not only do they have to remember the choreography, but these guys are really acting.
Yeah,
They are acting. They are angry. They are panicked because they could be killed at any moment. They are really acting their asses off. And then, in some films, one doesn't spring to mind, but in some films, it's just choreography, right? It's I just have to remember the choreography and make it look good. There is a film, for example, I believe that, and don't get me wrong, I love this film, but if you watch Captain America: Winter Soldier, when Winter Soldier and Captain America are fighting, there's not really much emotion there. It's choreography and it's going through the moves. No problem. I don't have issues with it. But if you
Just
compare it to this is two guys like emotional.
yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like where in Captain America, it just kind of feels like a fight because they need to fight. I do like that fight scene though.
Oh yeah, I think everyone does. It's an absolute classic.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, modern classic, I suppose I should say. But they need to do more stuff like that in Marvel, the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong, I like Shang-Chi. It was solid,
Yeah,
but I'd love to see more of the Winter Soldier style fights. They were really really good.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Sam Hargrave, right? I think choreographed those. I think.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was the stunt double for Captain America at some point, and then I think he choreographed or directed the action in Winter Soldier. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
And crazy about the Man from Nowhere. I'm just going to throw this out there that incredible fight scene went down in history. Everyone loves it. When you talk about knife fights, it's mentioned, and for some bizarre reason, One Bin never made another film.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, and I had heard, this is just rumors, but I mean I had heard that that like like part of it was him, part of it was he just wasn't really being offered anything that was to his liking. But again, I don't know that for sure. That was just kind of something I heard when I was diving into what exactly happened to him. But I mean, I've heard some say he wanted to focus on modeling because he is a model as well,
Yeah.
and then another part of it was just kind of like getting some offers here and there, but not really liking what they were offering, and so he would just pass on it. But yeah, I don't know. I would love to see him come back because I think he's excellent in this movie, and I want a sequel. Right?
Yeah, a sequel would be awesome. And the little girl from this film is in the show Bloodhounds on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
I haven't. I didn't know she was in that though.
She is. She is one of the main characters in it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's all grown up now. Unfortunately, this is a slight spoiler for Bloodhounds, but not a major spoiler. I'm not spoiling any plot points.
Right.
But she did have a drink driving incident in real life where she unfortunately caused some major damage when driving drunk. And apparently in South Korea, drink driving is a major no-no. And she came under a lot of flack, and she was lucky to hold on to the acting job in Bloodhounds, because apparently they were going to fire her. But she's great in it. She's very, very good in it. She even has a fight scene or two in it.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, Bloodhounds, go ahead and watch it. It's everyone out there, if you're looking for some very, very unique and brand new fight choreography, watch Bloodhounds. It'll blow your socks off. Really good stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've talked about this fight scene for long enough. I like to keep these short and sweet. So thank you so much for joining me, Kaleb. I really, really appreciate it. And to be honest, I'd love to have you on again to discuss other fight scenes in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm always down. So just reach out. There's a lot of other stuff that I really like to talk about. I'm sure you feel the same way. So yeah.
Of course. Being fans of the genre, there's an endless slew of things that we can talk about. Maybe I'll throw a curveball at you. Maybe it'll be, I don't know, some random fight scene from like Bridesmaids or something. I don't even know if there is a fight scene in Bridesmaids. I just had to throw some kind of movie out there. I don't know. But yeah, maybe I'll throw a few curveballs at people. So let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel and a podcast, both called Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema. We just did our most recent podcast episode. It's a monthly podcast, so we do episodes on the 15th of every month. We just did one on Fatal Contact, which was a fun movie to talk about. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram at Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema, and I have a Facebook page. Just search Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema. That's pretty much it. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Go and give Kaleb a follow, listen to his podcast, and watch his YouTube videos. And while you're here, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. I will read all the comments down below, and I will respond to them if they require a response. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it. There will be more Fight Bites in the future. And until then, I'll catch you next time.